Wow. Gervonta Tank Davis gets labeled not elite by Compubox. We're going to talk about that. Is Tank Davis, Gervonta, Baltimore's own? Next up, is he a top fighter? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. I encourage you guys to all like the video if you enjoy the content. Let's get into it. Now, I had to make this video because, one, that's what I do. Two, this seems to be a hot topic. Just to give you guys some context, DAZN, and BARAK had Chris MANNIX on the show, and the conversation or question was, is Tank Davis a top fighter, right? And it looked like and BARAK, I haven't watched the whole episode, but it looked like and BARAK were vouching and saying, how could you not put Tank Davis up there, you know? And you see in the middle, Chris MANNIX, a DAZN reporter, he was like almost offended, and he was making all these faces and saying, oh, what are we doing here? Because the other two, and BARAK, said that Gervonta Tank Davis was a top-rated guy in the here and now. So this seems to be a hot topic, right? So that's one. Once again, you see the middle DAZN commentator who does a lot of the stuff on the telecast. And when it came to Gervonta Davis, he says, oh, come on. You see it on the screen. He said, oh, come on. When they said that Tank was a top fighter. And then that was kind of the opening question and what was being debated. How could we debate if Tank is a top fighter at this point? Wow. Next up, you have a reporter with Compubox, and you will see on the screen, it says, not everything in boxing needs to be so cut and dry. Is Gervonta Davis elite right now? No. Is he well on his way towards that level? Yes. Now, this is shocking to me. And I told you it was getting to the point where old media seems to be losing their mind that certain fighters, oftentimes PBC fighters, oftentimes black fighters, are getting fanfare and recognition. How are we arguing if Tank Davis is elite when he's 25, 26 years old and he just moved to another division? Who else is doing that at age 25, 26? Adrian Broner did it. At age 24, he was a four division champion. People don't give Broner a bunch of credit. So this is Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerby, and looks like Heyman's Planet says, who cares about rookies like these when Hall of Fame fighters and the coaches say Tank is elite? These propaganda pushers don't mean much. And Robert Garcia, who has his own YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check that out, he was saying that Tank is a bad boy. This Robert Garcia, former fighter, former two-time champion, right? Guy that fought a ton of people, right? Guy that trained a ton of people, like his brother, Mikey Garcia, a once beaten phenomenal fighter. Guys like Maidana, Brandon Rios, etc., Jose Cito Lopez. Robert Garcia has been in some of the biggest events against, in the corner going against Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao, etc. And more importantly, he comes from a fight family. He was around boxing, when the Oscar De La Hoya Oxnard, kind of beef versus East LA. I mean, he's part of that history. So Robert Garcia had a ton of praises. He has a ton of praises for Tank Davis's performance if you watch the video. He also said that Tank is a beast, and he believes that Tank would knock out Josh Taylor, who is the multi-divisional champion. So like I said, old media is losing their mind because Tank got a belt, and it's a secondary belt, and people want Josh Taylor to get the credit. But just like Leonard Ellerby said, which I'll get to what Leonard Ellerby said in response to Tank not being elite, Leonard Ellerby says nobody knows Josh Taylor. So hold that thought. I'm going to read his response, and then we'll get right back to it. Leonard Ellerbe, in response to Compubox saying that Tank Davis is not elite, he says, exactly. You have to smile and keep it moving. The guy, Dan, who said it, is his opinion, and honestly, it doesn't matter. He's not moving a needle with this opinion at all. We're building the most exciting fighter in the entire sport. Trust me, his comments are irrelevant/ignored. So he's saying, regardless of how people feel, everyone can have an opinion, but that's not his opinion. Former ESPN writer Dan Rayfield jumped in the mix and said, I assume I'm not the Dan that you speak of, because to me, Tank is most certainly at an elite level at this point. So shout out to Dan Raphael for coming clean and admitting that Gervonta Davis is elite. Leonard Ellerbe, to which he responded, LOL, no, Dan, you and I both know that Gervonta is elite. It's actually funny. Wow. Now, the crazy thing is you have people, writers with Ring Magazine, writers with Compubox, and it really seems like they're going out of their way on some like old media vendetta to cast stones and take away to try to diminish. Like, people are still talking about Gervonta Tank Davis, and he fought last week. It's about to be, as of recording this video, it's 6 days from his fight. But Tank is so lit, not even just reporters, boxing fans have no choice but to keep talking about him. Like, it's literally Chris Colbert's about to fight in or around the same division. I know the Barrios fight was at 140, Colbert fights at 130, but we don't know what Tank Davis's next move is. Can he still make 130, 35? Is he going to stay at 40? We don't know. So another guy from in or around the divisions Tank Davis has fought in, who made up a stir, his biggest, Chris Colbert's kind of like biggest storylines was talking about Deontay Wilder, right? These are the facts, people. People are still talking about Gervonta Davis and what he did and arguing. So it's good for the kid. It's good for the kid just because you're not going to have it your way where everybody just agrees. But one thing that people do not understand when it comes to certain fighters is they tap into a guy like Gervonta Davis, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, Errol Spence, the Charlos. They're tapping into a whole different market. You let old media tell it. They tell you that Madrimov is the best and Inoue and Josh Taylor. Notice some patterns here. And they never encapsulate or capture the same market that guys like Tank Davis do. Like Tank Davis, he doesn't even have to, it doesn't have to be boxing related, but it can be if he knocks out Barrios. The Shade Room will post it. World Star Hip Hop will post it, right? Baller Alert will post it, et cetera, et cetera. Sports Center will post it. ESPN, he's not an ESPN fighter. This is where old media continues to get pummeled. Tank is tapping into a whole different stratosphere. There's a rapper named Ransom. He was spitting on Lloyd Banks' album. Speaking of Lloyd Banks, acid out the baggie, this is more than dope. Flawless flow, I cut off a sign every hoe I scope the, right? BANK $. If you listen to Lloyd Banks' new album, he got dedicated bars where he used Gervonta Davis and Errol Spence. He name dropped them to illustrate lyrically, through lyricism, what he wanted to say. There's a artist named Ransom. He was once cool with Joe Budden, Joey, right? And Ransom has a song where he recently put Errol Spence into some bars. So now we're talking about something different. When you got hip hop watching, hip hop is the largest. The artist of the decade was who? Drake, Drizzy. Y'all better not come to my studio with that fake ish. Y'all know. Drake, he was the artist of the decade. Guess what? The day after Tank's fight, Drake's posting about it, right? Lloyd Banks is rapping about it. Battle rappers is rapping about guys like Wilder, Errol Spence. Drake's posting the Charlos. Gervonta doing the backflip. LeBron James, I made videos about this. Tank was trending. He was on YouTube the number 2, 3, and 4 video after his fight with Barrios. So while people, just like Leonard Ellaby is saying, why people are hating, is he elite? Is he not elite? Guess what? He's tapping into a whole different lane. As I'm saying this, out my periph, guess what I see? Dipset. Aye. Look, you got Joel Santana. Aye. Verified page. Busta Rhymes. Oh my God, look. BG Knockout. Shout out to LA. Busta Rhymes, Neek Bucks. I'm telling you, Tank is different. Who's that? Hold on. He tapping into a whole different leg. The OGs. Busta Rhymes an OG in the game. And I feel like I gotta get away. You can never stop me. And I know it could be a little cocky. Every time I gotta. Break your neck. No. Me and Dre like a steamroller, ain't no fucking around. Tank is tapping into a different lane. So a lot of people gonna hate and say, oh, Tank it this, Tank it that. Tank is lit. That's what we do know for a fact. Now, I will get to the is he elite part. How is he not elite? That's my question. How is he not elite? The kid is, let me check his exact age. Y'all be hating that bad? That's crazy. People arguing if he's elite and he just moved up to 140. He moved up to 140, got almost all knockouts. One guy survived Gervonta Davis with the grill. Look at the ice grill. Okay. Now the haters mad. They want an ice grill. Okay, so he's 26 at the current point. He beat Pedraza better than Lomachenko because he actually stopped Pedraza and he did it first like Ray J. He's a southpaw. 25 fights, 25 wins. All but one were knocked out. No draws. Lomachenko lost his second fight. So this is the funny. Old media, they shook. I told y'all. I told you this was coming. Told y'all. Notice Lomachenko's real accomplishments outside were from the Olympics. So people gave him a lot of credit. They gave him a lot of credit based on his Olympic pedigree and 2 gold medals. But as a pro, within his second fight, Lomachenko already had taken the loss to Orlando Salido. He has less than 20 fights, and he already lost again to Teofimo Lopez. And Ryan Garcia, who's very young as well, he had to step up against Luke Campbell. He gets dropped in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what? Ryan Garcia comes back to stop Luke Campbell. Vicious body shot. And then he walks off. And that's Ryan Garcia. You can say what you want about him, but he stopped Luke Campbell. Something that Jorge Linares and Lomachenko didn't do. Same thing with Tank. Tank fought Pedraza when he was a champion, a certified. Loma fought him when he was a champion, but that was in a new division. And if you know how Top Rank works, what they did was put Pedraza in there with some stiffs and people he was likely to beat that you never heard of. And then he fought Ray Beltran, who had never been a champion and lost to Ricky Burns, even though I thought he won that fight, but he had got smoked by Terrence Crawford previously. And then because Pedraza beat him, he gets the Lomachenko sweepstakes. So that's clever matchmaking, people. And anyway, Tank Davis, I have an interview. I'm going to find that interview with Calvin Ford at his last fight in Atlanta with Gamboa. And Calvin Ford said he has a crazy resume. It was like, look, I think this is what they're saying. This might be off. Gervonta's, his amateur resume is something like 206 wins with 15 losses in the smaller divisions. That's beastie. So people give props to guys like Triple G, hell no, guys, for his silver medal and amateur pedigree and Lomachenko. But they don't do that for Tank Davis. Years later, after Tank, and see, Tank has such a style that is a pro style. Like Lomachenko, there's elements of his fight game that still fights like an amateur. Tank, he has power. He gonna smoke you and boxing ability. So he definitely has a certified pro style. A certified pro style. Yet and still, you notice old media, they don't put Tank on the pound for pound list. They won't put Jermell and Jamal Charlo. But look at how he destroyed. Why didn't Carl Frampton do this? And we're asking if Tank is elite. Man, this is a L for Compubox. They counting punches. They need to be counting their blessings. because I should go in even more. You know, how is he not elite? Carl Frampton didn't do that. He had 2 chances to do this, and Tank Davis came down in weight where Leo physically looked bigger. They both made weight, looked bigger. You look at Leo was in crazy shape. His back was ripped, and this is the end result. This is the end result of what Tank did. Then he goes up to 140 from being at 130, so he jumped 2 weight divisions. Notice Mikey Garcia, when he was at 135, he tore up Robert Easter, didn't stop him. I was at that fight. I was a credentialed media member at that fight. He looked great, Mikey Garcia, but he couldn't stop Robert Easter. He dropped him once or twice. Then he moves up to fight Errol Spence. He gets blown out every round. And I was at that fight ringside too, credentialed media. Meanwhile, Tank Davis went from 130 in this Leo Santa Cruz fight. His very next fight is at 140 against a champion. Akhmedov didn't do that to Mario Barrios, and his eye was real bad. So Mario Barrios keeps showing you who he is. El Azteca, he's a beast. I've watched him spar. I told you guys that. And guess what? Tank ended up dropping him. It should have been 4 times. They counted 3 of them. And then and look at the 6-inch height advantage. But when Canelo's fighting people who are 6 inches taller, everyone just gives Canelo credit. And Canelo's experience, he's been fighting since he was 15 as a pro. Tank is only 26, right? And people are having this conversation. It's super disrespectful. It's disrespectful to everything that Tank's waited for and worked for, you know? And Tank, now he hopping out of Lambos and stuff. And, you know, I'm not going to let them, not on my watch. I'm not going to let people do that. Bro, this kid comes from foster care and a rough city in the continental U.S., and this is how American media treats him. Asks if he's elite. 1 minute is always something. This is why old media keeps taking the fade. It keeps taking the L. It's always something. First they say he can't make weight. Then he makes weight and still catches a body. Then they say, oh, but Leo, he's a career 118 pounder. And they try to make Leo sound like he's a small dude. And he was really bigger than Tank Davis. I got a picture of me and Leo in my phone and a picture of me and Tank in my phone. Leo's bigger. I've been next to both of them, right? And they say, oh, Tank only fights smaller guys. Then he goes up to fight Mario Barrios at 140, who's clearly not the smaller guy. You see what I'm saying? He's clearly not the smaller of the two. If you looked at them in the ring together, or you look at the fight week photos, and now it's something else. It's like, is he elite now? I'm not sure if he's elite. Man, come on, bro. Notice for black fighters, you got to do some extra, histrionics. The man caught a body at 140. People who are professional fighters like Robert Garcia believes that he would still beat guys like Josh Taylor. And then people are questioning, and he doing backflips. He's entertaining. I mean, Tank is hitting on all cylinders. Let's just be real. People really had the audacity. Look at the height differential. The height differential. People questioning this man. Stop it. Checkmate. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.